History in school versus history as a hobby. I feel like this goes with learning anything in school. It's literally so painful. And some might refer to me as manic going down history rabbit holes, but man is it way more fun. With this little retrofit, the Yamamoto Japanese ship would have been unstoppable. So all they had to do was put, jets on the bottom of it so that it flew, like a rocket, nuclear pulse drive online. From there, it heads on out towards outer space, I guess. It leaves the atmosphere, space battleship Musashi. Oh yes, the Kerbal Space Program helped the Imperial Japanese design this. This is absolutely genius. Why didn't they do this? Were they dumb or something? In 1845, 79 people were oofed in a bridge collapse over the River Burr because a large crowd had gathered to watch a clown in a bathtub be pulled upriver by 4 geese. This was the world we lived in before Netflix. I mean, you can't tell me you wouldn't want to watch this too. My beautiful empire, cries the UK. Most of the lands are wasteland and not expected to last more than 400 years. Yeah, strain of modern civilization, says Italy. Actually, an empire and last almost 1,000 years. It did break up quite a bit, but yeah, that eastern side went on for quite some time. Oh yeah, it's metal time. Gotta bite the metal. Gotta scream F yeah. Popping the bottles. Oh, twist. That was both the French and British empires. Meanwhile, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Holy Roman Empire, and finally the Roman Empire lasting way, way longer. Oh man, this stuff is always so subjective though. My girlfriend in Paris. Oh, she looks like she's having a great time. Clearly they're at Disney Okay, yeah, I've been seeing this TikTok trend around. There's a whole lot of dudes out there doing this angle in front of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. This was the first guy to do it, though. Sir? The Americans have a ship just to make ice cream. The empire is doomed. We have to believe the moment the Japanese found out about this, they knew it was over. Imagine being such an industrial power you have an entire ship just to make ice cream. Spain be like, we can't join the war, we're not ready, plus we can't trust Germany. Meanwhile, the Bulgarians literally just waking up, grabbing a Red Bull, jumping right on in. They do not care. No parachute even too. They don't care about the consequences. Not surprising that they gained more territory despite losing the war. I mean, for this bravery, you gotta just give them something, right? Even we, the allies, were like, that was crazy. Just give them a little bit of land. I was waiting for this. Best part about it, Bulgaria did it in 2 world wars. Meanwhile, World War I generals, after losing 50,000 men, but capturing 2 inches of land. That's right, we are number 1. Totally worth it. The USSR, the USA, and all the other allies beating up fascism in Germany. Meanwhile, Franco leading fascist Spain hiding in the corner. But don't forget about Portugal's leader at that very same time. This must be the Iberian Peninsula effect. They can just hide behind this wall and no one notices. Britain, when it sees a small island with no significant resources at all. Think fast, chuckle nuts. It's already too late. You've already become colony status. Why are you laughing? You lost the war, says the USA. I give you one last defeat in the Americas, responds Mexico. This took place in 1916, resulting in a Mexico victory. This was during World War I too. Man, they don't teach us about this. A majority of US major conflicts are started by direct boat effery or boat adjacent effery. Holy crap, Spider-Man has a point here. Just off the top of my head, Pearl Harbor with World War II, Gulf of Tonkin with the Vietnam War. Something happened in the Spanish and American War. That whole thing began in the aftermath of the internal explosion from the USS Maine. And of course, we can't forget about when we threw all that British tea in the water. It really does all just come down to our boats, doesn't it? Being unemployed in the USA, has applied to hundreds of jobs, already spent all the savings he had, family and friends consider him a loser, had to move back to living with his parents, 20 plus interviews, always gets ghosted afterwards, and spent 5 years and lots of money in a degree for nothing. Versus being unemployed in ancient Rome. The state provides free food. If you know how to read, you'll get a good job in any city, can get a job just by walking in and asking, can join the army for money and food, goes to see gladiatorial fights for free. And that had to have been like the best way to spend a nice Sunday afternoon, watching a lion maul a man to death. Where did the US go wrong? Norman French dialect based on Latin. Meanwhile, a hybrid of various Germanic dialects. And that is exactly how we were able to birth Middle English, basically. This image disturbs me so much. Yet do you realize how powerful that baby's gonna be? I speak Spanish to God, Italian to women, French to men, and German to my horse. This was said by Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire. On top of it all, he said this quote in English. Not really. Is it because he only respects horses? The Franco-Ottoman alliance of 1536 in a nutshell be like, we have the Kingdom of France and the Ottoman Empire, both despising the Habsburgs. I mean, something's gotta pull them together. It must have been insane to see the big blue blob of France himself teaming up with the giant Ottoman Empire. If you think about it, the French have always had some very interesting alliances throughout history, whether it's the Ottomans at that point, or of course they allied to the Russians centuries later. They even allied to someone as strange as the Americans. I mean, they were just out here finding friends. They did a good job of that. Psst. Hey you, Serbian kid. Wanna become a janissary? Oh no, don't do it. Is this real footage? No, it can't be, because I don't think they asked. Died in 1975 versus born in 1975. Welcome back, Francisco Franco. Wait, is she destined to, at some point, rule Spain with an iron fist? I mean, I could see that. This says, if I have to hear one more time that you did it for civilizing us, I did it for the gold, responds Spain. I liked it. I was good at that. Well, at least they aren't lying anymore. Honesty is always the best policy, I guess. Who's gonna win this siege in 1574? A well-supplied modern fort from Spain versus a few lads with boats and shovels from the Netherlands. Sometimes I feel like the Dutch people just have a combat bonus in general when it comes to fighting the Spaniards. Remember, the Spanish Empire was like unstoppable at this time. New England's proposed succession versus Southern succession. One's based, one's cringe, one's anti-war, one's ultra-racist. One has American values, the other one ran by the 1%. Makes allies not war, while the other one causes the deadliest in American history. Finally, backed down for the betterment of the country and actually tried and still lost. That's pretty much how the US Civil War went down. When exactly was the New England proposal? I mean, I know they've wanted that for a while. You know, apparently it was during the War of 1812 because they thought it was pretty pointless. This dude be like, man, what a peaceful Christmas we're having. Meanwhile, George Washington and 2,400 farmers moving across the river. I like how as if they just walked across it. Like they didn't even swim, they just walked at the bottom because they can do that. Christmas is my favorite time to go to war. Garrison at Trenton be like, it's Christmas, the rebels are nearly defeated and won't attack fellow Christians on such a holy day, drink and relax. Meanwhile, the Virginian mad lad on the other side of the Delaware River in desperate need of a propaganda victory. And man oh man, did that do it. Talk about some guerrilla warfare. The history scriptwriters writing the American and French Revolution arc in the same season. Talk about my favorite, or at least one of my favorite seasons in history. What an absolute fire script. Switzerland during WW1 and WW2, meanwhile Switzerland during the Napoleonic Wars. Yeah, they were not to be messed with. They held nothing back. I do feel like I try to mention how Switzerland wasn't always technically neutral. Dutch Catholics when Spanish soldiers arrived in their cities during the Spanish Fury of 1576. What anime is this? Oh, dang it. Netherland lore. It's funny because I feel like nowadays the Dutch and Spanish almost never have any crossover. They had quite the rivalry in history. Where are you going? Meanwhile, Diogenes, who is said to have walked away upon hearing a philosophical argument denying the existence of motion, he intended to prove without utterance that motion does indeed exist. Kind of feels like a philosophical rap battle. When you're in 1518, minding your own business, until you notice people outside are dancing. I'm sure at first this seemed like a lovely sight to see, up until they just didn't stop. I mean, like 30 or 40 days go by, and they just don't stop. That's one of the most terrifying plagues. Imagine dancing to death. We still don't know exactly what happened. Japanese architectures rebuilding the Imperial Palace for the 500th time. And obviously they don't mind doing it again. I'm sure by like the 30th time, they just thought it was kind of fun. Get to add a couple new rooms or whatever. They don't know that I'm Emperor of the Romans. Aww. This really does put into perspective what Byzantium must have been thinking. Here's the Pope crowning the Holy Roman Emperor the Empire of the Romans, yet Byzantium is the direct line. It's literally Eastern Rome. Freaking Charlemagne. The Israeli delegation in Mauritania for a friendly visit, discovering that the two countries are at war. Oops. Like, what do you do in that situation? I would probably just like lie and say, I'm trying to help you guys out. I'm a spy. Try to escape out of a back door. The League of Nations in 1938. okay, you can have the Sudetenlands, but no more, please. Meanwhile, NATO in 1999, that wasn't very cash money of you, Yugoslavia. Guess we gotta drop some boom boom devices all over Serbia. Libya attacking Chad, the country, with a modern army with tanks and with jets. Meanwhile, Chad winning the war with a few Toyotas and their soldiers having a KD of 18-1. Ah, the Toyota wars. I just want a Toyota truck literally just for this conflict. I want it to be from the 80s as well. The duality of getting Romanized. We have the Gauls plus Rome equals La France. Meanwhile, Dacia plus Rome equals Romania. Quite the big difference there, isn't it? I guess this Roman equation doesn't clearly always produce the same results. Harold Hardrada, the last Viking warlord on his way to become a living legend, but then a random arrow that showed up to hit him right in the throat. Ah, the life of being a Viking. One thing's for sure, there was always some twists and turns. My brother, I've decided to search for more food
in the waters.
Oh no, don't go back out in the water.
You will regret this, Pakicitus. The environment will force you to adapt.
Yes, you're gonna lose your
I
legs.
just need some shrimps.
It sounds like a fun time.
I will be perfectly fine.
Until evolution catches up. What the freak happened? Exactly. These are the two species. This is how different they turned out. Remember that even the smallest decisions you make right now could be the biggest thing ever a million years from now. That's not Roko Zavaki's wife. I must inform Comrade Stalin. I will surely get this person punished. Yo, what's going on? Why do you want to talk to me? I just saw a comrade out in public with a woman that is not his wife. What shall we do? What shall we do? We shall envy Comrade Grovoksky, the guy. I don't think this guy expected Stalin to have such an interesting sense of humor. I definitely wouldn't have expected that either. This future Civil War Union General Grant struggling to provide for his family. His father gifting him a slave that Grant could have sold for over $1,000, about $40,000 in today's money, something like that. Grant immediately taking the slave downtown, giving him his papers, and making him a free man instead. Talk about based. He was clearly on the Union side. Lol, you Americans lost to rice farmers and old men in caves. Common American reactions, I don't care. And also, no, you've 10 times more than them. We only stopped fighting because, yeah, whatever. Meanwhile, the American elite at the time, we weren't exactly fighting to win. Oh, yeah, sometimes it's not even about that. They were just doing some XP farming, I guess. Britain, don't invade Poland. Meanwhile, Germany invades Poland anyway. We got Poland's reaction, Britain's reaction, Poland's reaction, and finally, the American economy. Oh, actually, they're gonna be a fan. Again, it's time to profit. Why did fashion peak in the 1700s? I mean, technically, there's nothing stopping you from still rocking this right now. You can get anything nowadays. Just get on Amazon. I'm down to bring it back too. French nurse, a child has just went missing from the nursery. Who could have possibly taken him? Meanwhile, some fat, hungry man named, well, supposedly he liked to eat a lot of things, including once a baby. Oh look, it's Czechia, Lithuania, Azerbaijan, Poland, Ukraine, Georgia, Austria, Hungary, Uzbekistan, Moldova, Romania, Hungary, Estonia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, so many more. All out here posing on the Soviet Union tombstone. Oh look, I guess even America is here as well. They weren't really fans. My patrons on Patreon, thank you. KirinoIsBestGirl. Sebby, if you hear this, I love you. Jack Draven's annoying friend. I can't sleep without Drew's voice. Drew on your dad, back with the milk. Look outside. Amateur archaeology. A fat normal. Carmel S. Fredrik Tibblin. GoodOldRyah. Inquisitors. Zero Mexican. JohnDenver.
KirinoIsBestGirl.
Lemons Lines.
LuxembourgLover.
Ortin 561.
Robert
RyeThePie.
TheGreatRalphy.
and ZaneyBoi